Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and wherever you're watching in the world, welcome along to F1 Esports Series Challenges. Here tonight, we're seeing the Xbox drivers try their hand at those top 6 places. Remember, there's only 2 races to go here for the Xbox drivers for a chance to secure themselves in the top 6 and get themselves that ticket to the F1 Pro exhibition. We've already seen 6 of the PlayStation drivers secure their place. It's now time for the Xbox drivers to see what they're worth one last time here for their chance to get their place in the Pro exhibition. We bring you first to the United States Grand Prix at the Circuit of the Americas in Texas, and then later on we'll be heading to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix in Yas Marina to finish off challenges for the Xbox drivers. And of course we couldn't have challenges without one Mr. Justin Sutton. Justin, we've seen 8 races for these drivers. It's pretty close when it comes to the top 6 at this moment in time. We've seen some great racing, and we're fair to say we should see a bit more as well.
Yeah, that's right. The top 3 separated by just 14 points. Not quite as close as it was for the PS4 guys just yesterday, but still quite close. Caden Lutt leading the way on 107 points. We're going to get into the full standings in a moment, but there's still plenty to play for. There is still people that can sneak their way into the top 6 as well. So looking forward to it. 2 very different tracks, 2 very different races we had yesterday. Looking forward to see what happens with the Xbox guys, because of course they will have seen what happened yesterday on the PS4 side.
Yeah, PS4 going first gives everybody else a slight advantage as to, well, how are they going to do that? What's the strategies like going through? We saw some good racing. We saw some good pit stop action as well in terms of undercuts, overcuts, mainly undercuts though last night, that's for sure. But whatever happened, it worked for those drivers. We've had our 6 drivers so far. We've got 12 more to decide. 6 of them decided tonight.
Yeah, that's right. And yeah, I'm very interested to see. We've got a couple of drivers who are very, very safe. A couple drivers who are kind of safe, and one driver in particular who is not safe at all, who is going to be very keen to keep his position in the top 6. So we'll see how that shakes out.
Well, as you say, Justin, people are kind of safe. I'd say all of them are kind of safe. No one is guaranteed through, because here are your standings. Caden Lutt is at the top of the standings then on 107 points. It's Christopher Parry in 2nd place on 102. Antoine Desaluski in 3rd place there on 95. Jonas Rutten in 4th on 82 points. Erwin Lanauer in 5th place on 74, with Zach Oates rounding off that coveted 6th place spot. That's currently 58 points. Timo Suna in 7th place on 50 points. Connor Muir joins him on the same points in 8th. Mikko Hautajoki in 9th place on 49. Leroy Brown rounds off the top 10 on 44 points. Take you through the rest of the standings then. In 11th place, we have Sam McCabe on 27 points. Chandler Saiter in 12th place on 21. And then we have John Emmons there on 13th place on 20 points. With James Doherty in 14th place on 8 points. Lauren Purdy on 8 points. 15th place, Jaden Munoz rounding off our top 16 in the standings on 5 points. And as you go through the order there, Justin, you'll start to realise that when it comes to the top end of the field, we saw yesterday in the PS4 side that we had one guaranteed starter or one guaranteed place already through. Tonight, when we head into Xbox, no one has that guaranteed place, at least before race 1 here tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Caden Lutt would have to have a truly terrible day and a lot of really, really bad luck to not get through, as would Christopher Parry. And from what we've seen from both of those drivers, certainly both of us, Kieran and myself, are certainly expecting some pretty good results from them today, at least some points finishes, which is, to be honest, all they really need in order to secure themselves in that top 6. Antoine Desaluski, who we just saw a quote from not that long ago, he's not that far behind them. He's only 11 points behind Christopher Parry. So one solid result in the first race could see him through and take a lot of weight off those shoulders for the second race at Yas Marina.
Yeah, we saw there as well, Andrew Korapi. He's obviously looking forward to these 2 tracks. He feels they're his 2 strongest tracks, and here's hoping. We've got the whole fandom behind him here to try and get some points on the board. He will love to finish this series with at least a couple of points on the board. Jonas Rutten as well is happy he's in the top 4 right about now, and he's hoping, that was the important part at the end of his quote, that he's attracting some of those teams and seeing what he can do. So that's an important one as well. It's all well and good if you go out there and have some good races, but you've got to catch the eye of those teams, because at the end of the day, they're the ones you have to impress.
Exactly right. And this isn't their final opportunity because, of course, the Pro Exhibition will have events. We don't know exactly what that's going to look like just yet. Don't have full details, but it's going to be very interesting to see how that shakes out. But they'll be given an opportunity to prove themselves against the other drivers that qualified, not just through the challengers, but through other routes as well. They'll all inevitably be together racing against each other, or whatever challenges they have ahead of them. It'll happen together, and so he's got more opportunities still to try and prove himself and to show the teams what he's made of. But this is one final opportunity for challengers, certainly, and I'm sure he would love to get a top 3 if he could.
Well, let's find out, because we've got qualifying just around the corner. But of course, the circuit of the Americas then, just over 5.5 kilometers, takes us around this fantastic facility. 20 turns and 2 DRS zones, plenty of undulation, and you'll see that spike going in towards turn 1. A massive incline in towards the first braking zone, and then you descend quite rapidly just as soon as you ascended in towards turn 1, down through turn 2 and through the S section, through turns 3, all the way up towards turn 9 before you get over the crest, down the hill towards turn 10. A good overtaking point we saw yesterday, Justin. I know overtaking points are a bit of a mystery to us, but it seemed to be sector 3 was a huge overtaking opportunity when it comes down to it. Turn 13, turn 14, turn 15 seems to be a place that encourages people to go side by side.
Yeah, exactly right. And by the way, no matter how steep it looks in the games, it never feels like that in real life. You go up turn 1 at Circuit of the Americas and you are feeling it by the time you get to the top. I've done it a number of times and it hasn't gotten any easier. Certainly as the years go by. In fact, it probably gets harder. But yeah, absolutely love this circuit. And this sector, this is exactly what we were talking about. This whole section in here, just coming out of 13 and 14 into 15. I noticed they were taking very, very wide lines, very similar lines, in fact, through turn 15. There was a time where we would see more variety through that corner in terms of the different lines that people would take. But it seems that the very, very wide entrance to carry as much speed to give you that good run through the triple right-hander is what's fastest for the current cars. So not quite as much variety at that corner specifically, but plenty of battling, plenty of overtakes, lots of defending as well too. And this is a strange sight that we don't actually see very often in F1 Esports Challenges, which is the cars backing up. It's more something you see in the real F1, but typically you don't see traffic backing up like that just before the lap. But it's great to see the respect being shown by all of the drivers. Nobody's rushing through, plowing their way ahead, trying to just get on with the lap. Plenty of time in this session, so everybody's being very cordial.
Just for now, anyway. Zacho said he'll feel like he's got a little bit of a target over his back, because this is a driver in 6th place, 58 points right about now. Zacho is going to need some good results in order to help himself and try and forge a path into the top 6 and stay there for the duration of the 2 races. What will help right now is a good lap under his belt.
Yeah, exactly. He needs a good banker. Certainly what he really, really needs is to not invalidate the lap, because we've seen before how that can have a bit of a domino effect on your qualifying. If you mess up the opening lap, then all of a sudden your fast lap is now your banker lap, and your all-out lap is now your fast lap, and it could just really throw you off. A little bit of a lockup into turn 12. That was another pattern that we saw a lot of yesterday, just before the inside curb, actually. And here is that very wide line that I was talking about through turn 15, much, much wider than sometimes I feel like you would have seen in years past. But again, the drivers all adapting to the cars and to the strengths of the cars. And of course, that wider line is clearly fastest if so many people are doing it. And there we go, Pinecone putting a time on the board. And it's a 1:29.3. Bigger gaps than what we're seeing at this stage in qualifying compared to yesterday on the PlayStation side. But I feel that's going to tighten up probably.
Yeah, Zacho then takes provisional pole position as he now takes his spot at the top of the table, at least for now. The first driver into the 1:28 to 28.8 puts him onto that pole position, at least for now. There's still just under 30 minutes of the session to go then. But as you clearly saw on the left-hand side, those times were just getting faster and faster and faster. Jonas Rutten put in a 29.2. Desolewski puts in a 29.1. Caden Lutt put in an even faster 29.1. So it's safe to say here that don't count your chickens before they've hatched. it's qualifying. It's very early on. We've still got a bit of track evolution on the midst as well and on the horizon. So let's wait and see if those faster times come in towards the end of the session here, as we see the McLaren making his way now through in towards the last couple of corners here then, through turn 20 and onwards towards the start-finish straight. This is Bartek Frats we're riding on board with. He now goes 6th fastest, 29.5. One of the reserve drivers called up here, Justin. So, unfortunately, there's no chance for him to make his way into the top 6, but there's every chance that he can put on a show.
Exactly. Make a little bit of a name for himself. Maybe he's a content creator. More and more esports drivers are content creators these days. And in fact, more and more content creators are esports drivers these days. Ooh, lovely angle. I absolutely love as you get to see the cars really loading up the left side. Going through the high-speed triple right-hander there. But yeah, we've actually got a couple of key drivers missing today, which is really, really unfortunate because certainly we were looking forward to the battle for the top 6. Thibaut Sooner isn't going to be here. And also Connor Muir, both of them on 50 points, just 8 points behind Zach Oates coming into this event. We do have Finn Dayum, which is good to see. He's on 48 points, just 10 points behind Zach Brown. And then we should also have Leroy Brown as well. Yep, LVA Brown is in the lobby as well. He's on 44 points, so 14 points adrift. So he needs 2 solid races, really, in order to get ahead of Zach Oates. And he probably needs a little bit of bad luck for Sync Oates as well.
Yeah, you never want to wish ill on your rival, but a bit of bad luck for your rivals doesn't go amiss, if you know what I mean. But there is Leroy Brown now making his way through in towards the final corner. This is going to be a big night for Leroy Brown. He's got to try and get some good performances on the board here, because right now he's 10th in the standings. 44 points to his name so far, 12 points off of Zach Oates. So it's going to be one of those moments where he needs to try and find that pace and try and find as many points as he possibly can.
Yeah, exactly. So again, just for those at home, remember you can always go to F1Esports.com. You can see the current standings there. Oh, we've got a car off track or possibly just moving out of the way. I'm not sure if that was somebody who had a bit of an off and was rejoining safely, or just being really extra cautious in getting out of the way for a car on the fast lap. Either way, great to see. Bit of a lockup into that hairpin for Brown as he makes his way onto the long DRS straight. He does have a car ahead. I'm not sure if that's a car on a quick lap or not, but yeah. So again, the 3 key players that we're looking at for that 6th place position, because Iwan Lenauer is fairly safe, 16 points ahead of Zach Oates in 5th position. So the 3 key players are Sync Oates in 6th with 58 points, VSR Finn Dayum in 9th place with 48 points, and LVA Brown in 10th place with 44. 14 points between all 3 of them.
Yes, absolutely. So it's going to be a real battle to try and get into that top 6, that is for sure. And of course, the bragging rights come in at the top of the table as well. We've already seen Valentin Bruffa be crowned that sort of champion of challenges, if you like, that title that everybody wants to have. I would love to have it anyway. Leroy Brown going 2nd fastest, meanwhile, 29.0. Well, we said he needed to get as many points on the board as possible. Front row of the grid right now would certainly help with that.
Yeah, a 29.0 is very competitive. Of course, track evolution is a thing. The track is getting faster all the time as it gets more and more rubbered in by the cars going around. But yeah, that's a very competitive time, no doubt about it. He's more than a second up on some of the reserve drivers. So certainly looking pretty good at the moment for him. And again, he doesn't need too much. He does need either one really good race and then one okay race, or he just needs 2 good races and then maybe a little bit of bad luck for Sync Oates, and similarly for Finn Dayum as well. Finn Dayum's only 4 points ahead of him, though. So I would say, essentially, if he finishes ahead of Finn Dayum in both races, regardless of their finishing positions, he should be pretty safe to overtake Finn Dayum. Finn Dayum, similar sort of situation. He really just needs to make sure he finishes ahead of LVA Brown, and then the both of them are going to have just crosshairs for Sync Oates, who again, as mentioned, is in that 6th place position with 58 points currently.
Yes, and yeah, attention turn to the top of the table as well, because we've got Caden Lutt on 107 points, Christopher Parry on 104, and you say they're basically safe, they're pretty much safe. Well, if results don't go their way, they may not be, as Caden Lutt goes now into provisional pole position with a 28.863, puts him now onto the top of the table by 300ths of a second ahead of Zach Oates. We've got Antoine Desaluski as well on 93 points. There he is on the 29-1 in this session so far. 6th place for him as he now makes his way on the exit of turn 15 through this treble right-hander of 16, 17 and 18. And 74 points at this stage. No way a mean feat whatsoever. He's got distance between himself and Zach Oates in that 5th place position there. But, you know, it never hurts to have a good number of points on your back there as he comes back into the pit lane.
Yeah, a couple of podiums for Iwan Lenauer in 5th position, a couple of podiums for Zach Oates as well in 6th position, but obviously slightly higher finishing positions on average for SHD Iwan. But yeah, he's leading the way in terms of that battle at the moment. And again, as I mentioned before, he's not that far behind Jonas Reuten either. Jonas in 4th position on 82 points, only 8 points ahead. So certainly that is not an insurmountable target. He can absolutely take that position. He's definitely within striking distance of Antoine Desaluski. I don't know if he's really in it for the championship.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Of course, it's bragging rights if they want to finish at the top of the table. No one could ever take that away from them. We saw it decided by a single point last night. Let's see if we get more of the same here on Xbox tonight. As we see, then there is Iwan Lenauer making his way now down towards turn 11, heavy braking zone, and on towards that long straight, about 1.2 kilometers long on the run down towards turn 12. And this, Justin, is where we will probably see the most likely opportunity to see cars begin to go side by side.
Yeah, we saw a 3-way battle actually in the braking zone into turn 12 right at the start of the race yesterday, if I remember that correctly. I don't remember which 3 drivers it was, but they actually came out the other side 3 wide as well, which is pretty impressive. Certainly America known for 3-wide racing, but not typically at Circuit of the Americas. That's a very different kind of track where we typically see that sort of racing.
Well, absolutely. And yeah, that was the battle for what was at the time last place.
12th? Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So this just shows you that the drivers are willing to put up a fight no matter what position they are in, as Lenauer now makes his way in towards the final corner then. See if he makes his way on towards the start-finish straight to start and wind up for a flying lap here as we take you on board with that front wing and up the hill then towards turn 1, using that curve on the right-hand side, and just see how much it's an incline up towards turn 1. Then you go downhill, and if there was any sort of undulation before, we saw on that circuit map afterwards, it's such an outlier, that turn 1, how much it goes uphill, that any other undulation on the track is just seems relatively flat.
It really does, even though, yeah, this is quite a bit of a climb here through 8 and 9, and again, you get this crest, and then quite a dip, in fact, going downhill towards this turn 11 hairpin. So, yeah, you're exactly right. There's quite a bit of elevation change, which I think is the real secret to having a fantastic circuit. I think elevation change, I mean, it's part of the reason that Spa is so absolutely fantastic. You get that uphill ride onto the Kempel Straight, and then descending downhill through Sector 2, and Puhan and all of those corners, fantastic stuff. So yeah, it's great to see, especially because Texas can be very, very flat. As somebody who lives in Texas, I could confirm it is very, very flat in certain parts. So I was absolutely thrilled to see that they had the elevation change.
Yeah, home track for you, Justin, isn't it? This is for
That's
sure.
right.
As we see now Lenauer make his way through that treble right-hander onwards then towards the final 2 corners through 90 and then onwards towards turn 20. The car wanting to snap on him through 19, as you were saying, Justin, last night, that turn 19 is no easy corner. Lenauer crosses the line to go onto the front row of the grid. A 28.874 puts him into 2nd place.
Wow, that's a competitive time. Not far off of Caden Lutt, 11 thousandths of a second actually off of the current championship leader. Not bad for currently 5th placed Iwan Lenauer. I'm sure he'll be happy about that. Having a look at Jonas Reuten again in 4th position. He's certainly a lot more comfortable for making the top 6 compared to Zach Oates. He's 24 points ahead of the Brit. So he's feeling a little bit more comfortable coming into this, certainly. A little bit less pressure on his shoulders, which could be massively beneficial. We have seen how the pressure can really affect drivers in the past. Not necessarily in this season exactly, but just in general in the past. And it is 5th quickest, actually. But LVA Brown, I didn't even notice, has gone quickest of all, actually. He is looking incredibly rapid around here.
He really, really does. And if he wants those points, he must have heard us, Justin. It spurred him on to actually get onto the front row of the grid for now, onto provisional pole position. We've still got drivers out there ready to put in a lap. Jonas Rutten, you see, in 5th place, and we'll have to see actually, because it's not normally you get the option, you get the luxury of having tyres that really are at their best for 2 flying laps, especially when you do a little bit of a cool down lap in between. But we'll have to see what Rutten does. He might come back to the pit lane and retire from the session, because there's just simply not enough time for him to get back to the pits and then put on a fresh set of tyres to go back out for another flying lap. Who is on an out lap right now is Christopher Parry, currently 2nd in the standings, 6th so far in this qualifying session in his number 96 car, making his way now down the back stretch towards turn 12. And you can see pretty much a 1/10 of a second covers our top 6 in qualifying right now.
Incredibly close, absolutely incredibly close. Yeah, it's actually just under a 10th down to Pinecone here, who we're having a look at now, who is, as we said, just 3 points behind Caden Lutt coming into this event. So he's got plenty of opportunities. In fact, it's very straightforward for him as well too. He's another driver that has it quite easy actually. He just needs to beat Caden Lutt. It doesn't matter where he is, as long as he's ahead of CRG Lutt. That's all that matters if he wants to win this championship.
Well, he will want to win it. No driver will turn down an opportunity to win the series, that is for sure. But it is the top 6 who all make it through then to the Pro Exhibition. At the end of tonight's event, we will be able to find out who exactly that will be as we ride on board with Christopher Parry. Then in towards turn 1, then it's down the hill we go through turn 2, and this is where the corners come at you faster than you can count them as we head through turns 3, through turn 4, then through 5. It's such a quick change of direction through turn 6, through turn 7 we go, hitting that sleeping policeman on the left, through turn 8, and over the crest through turn 9 we go again, just clipping that sleeping policeman on the inside of the curb there, through turn 10, onwards then towards turn at number 11, using plenty of curb on the right hand side to open up this hairpin-esque corner then, because the acceleration out of here is so important. You cannot afford to get any sort of wheel spin down this long straight, 1.2 kilometers all the way down towards turn at number 12 as you find your braking spot there just past the 50-meter marker board, maybe just before, as you see now making our way now in towards turn 13. The trap dips towards the apex then, very easy to lock a brake going through there, through the kink of 14, then in towards turn 15, and slowing the car right down back into 3rd gear to reduce the wheel spin on the exit, through the treble right-hander of 16, of 17, and then through turn 18, before then we make our way towards the double left-hander, through turn 19, and onwards then towards turn 20. Seemed like a good lap here on board with Christopher Parry. What's it going to be like on the timing screens then as he makes his way towards the start-finish line? It's going to be provisional pole position for Christopher Parry, 28.786. I thought it was a good lap, and I was proven just that.
It's pretty narrow, though. He's definitely not safe from the likes of Brown and even Iwan Lenauer and Sink Oates as well. Zach Oates in 5th position has been very close throughout the session. In fact, Burap's had a pretty good time as well. So he's not completely got it all wrapped up just yet. Still got a few cars yet to cross the line, and one of those is actually Antoine Desaluski, who we're having a look at now, who hasn't had the best of qualifying so far, but maybe he can pull it out of the bag here.
Maybe he could, as he now makes his way in through turn 12. Onwards we go towards turn 13. Checker flag is out, and then you can see Brown is in 2nd place. That checker flag next to his name, of course, means that he's finished the session, so we are not expecting a lap time from him. How about Caden Lutt, Iwan Lenauer, Zach Oates as well, all out on track somewhere out there. There is Caden Lutt as he now makes his way on towards the back stretch, then towards turn 12 as he opens up that DRS and now trying to find his way down towards turn 12, just trying to brake as late as he dares here to try and get the most amount of time. Desaluski then 28.774 now goes to the top of the standings on pole position. Who's going to be able to respond to that one? Maybe Caden Lutt as he now makes his way through the kink of 14 onwards towards turn 15, slowing that car right down before you have to get back onto the power, climb through the gears as we make our way through that treble right-hander. Zach Oates abandons his lap time, so he will go no higher than 6th place. Here comes Caden Lutt then through the penultimate corner, now towards the final corner, opening up this corner as much as he possibly can, then back onto the power for that short, sharp move to the line. It's a 28.8. He goes up to 3rd place in the standings here in qualifying, and that is Burap's then, who has abandoned his lap time. That's Andrew Corapi, who is in 8th place. So a great showing there from the American. Hasn't got any points this season so far. He would love to do it at his home track. But it's Antoine Desaluski then who finds himself on pole position then for the United States Grand Prix.
I didn't mean to predict that. I did think that he was looking pretty handy out there, Antoine Desaluski. But again, he was having a really difficult qualifying session. He was way down near the lower parts of the top 10. Was having a bit of a hard time, but what a lap to close things out. Just 12 thousandths of a second faster than Pinecone. And we all know how fast Pinecone is. And look at that. It's only 22 thousandths more down to Caden Lutt. So extremely, extremely close between all of them. And then only 49 thousandths down to Brown. Oh, I can't quite see the next time. 17 thousandths down to the next car. Unbelievably close. This actually might be one of the closest qualifying sessions I've ever seen.
And in one of the closest qualifying sessions we've seen, it's Antoine Desaluski who comes out on top, grabs pole position then for the United States Grand Prix. It's Christopher Parry in 2nd place. Caden Lutt is in 3rd. Leroy Brown in 4th. Edward Lanawa is in 5th place. Zach Oates in 6th. Jonas Rutten in 7th place with Andrew Corapi in 8th place. It's Miko Hautayoki in 9th place. And then it is Tribune. That's Laurent Perny rounding off the top 10. Going through the rest of the order then, Tom in 11th place. Neil in 12th, Bart Fras in 13th place, Duncan 14th, and Radio Nix is in 15th place. Well, that's a pretty close qualifying session. Top 10 separated by just over 3.5 tenths, with some slightly unrepresentative times towards the bottom of the table. What that all means then, Justin, is we should be in for a heck of a race.
Yeah, really looking forward to this. In the key battle for the top 6, just to keep everybody at home updated, Elvier Brown qualified 4th ahead of Zach Oates, who only qualified in 6th, and that is important. We'll see if that ends up playing into what we're about to see in the race, but certainly that's not ideal for Zach Oates.
It's not ideal, but it's not over. He should take that as just a little bit of an opportunity there to, regather his thoughts and maybe try again in the race, because the race, Justin, is where the points actually are scored.
Yeah, exactly right. And it's going to be tough out there. We saw yesterday how difficult it could be. Let me bring back up this qualifying. Extremely close. Oh, we are about to get going. Yeah, less than 2 tenths for the top 8. Oh yeah, this is going to be a fun race.
Well, let's get it started then. We make our way onto the grid then for these Xbox drivers in their penultimate race in their challenges at the United States Grand Prix. We count up to 5 red lights. We're racing in Austin. What are the starts like? Good start from everyone across the board then, as we're going to go side by side. Desaluski and Parry up towards turn 1. Parry's got the inside line and Parry takes the lead of this race then. That's Ion Lanawa trying to go up the inside there. Lost a little bit of momentum on his exit out of turn 1 and goes back down to 6th place. So that good start he had, that good momentum he carried through, has all been washed away, unfortunately. Still a long way to go in this race as everyone now files their way in towards this S section as we make our way through turn 7. Then we go through turn 8 and over that crest through turn 9. Down the hill we go towards turn 10. A good start from Christopher Parry then. He's made good of his inside line, then up towards turn 1. And he now takes the lead of this race. Antoine Desaluski in 2nd place. Caden Lutt in 3rd. Jonas Rutten in 4th place there. With Leroy Brown in 5th. Edward Lanawa in 6th. With Miko Hautayoki in 7th place. Zach Oates dropping to 8th place there at the start of that race. Andrew Corpy drops to 9th. And Tribune rounding off our top 10. We make our way down towards turn 12. It's single file for now. No one blinking just yet in terms of an overtaking opportunity, and Leroy Brown has already got himself a 3-second time penalty. We've just barely done half a lap.
That is massive. He is in luck that Zach Oates is 3 positions behind him at the moment. Certainly that would drop him behind Zach as things are right now, but I would expect that gap to increase over the course of the race, certainly if he's got a quicker pace over the course of the race each lap. So yeah, it's not the end of the world for Brown, but that's really going to put him on the back foot. Yeah, and also, by the way, 2nd day in a row that pole position at Circuit of the Americas has resulted in coming out in not 1st position. It was actually only 1 position lost this time for Antoine Desaluski. Yesterday, it was 2 positions lost.
Yeah, and that could have something to do. I mean, obviously, the first place, the pole position is on the left, or sorry, the right-hand side where the racing line is. So in theory, you get a better launch off the line as Keneal picks up a 3-second time penalty. Second driver of the race to pick up a penalty for what I assume will be track limits. But the right-hand side of the grip has the rubber. So in theory, when you put the power down, the tyres should be able to find more grip than on the inside line. However, on the inside line, you have a better run into the corner. You have the inside line. You can try and take the apex away from the pole position man who starts on the outside, and it's all sorts of thinking that the drivers have to do. It happens in a split second. Christopher Parry then takes advantage and takes the lead of the race.
Oh, some Mercedes on Mercedes action here between Cincoats and Findayam. Oh, and making contact with Iwan Lanauer as well, too. A 3-second time penalty, nearly 3 wide through the right-hander, though. Both Mercedes managing to get by, still side by side as they get into the left-hander. Here comes the Alfa Romeo coming back at him. He gets through, actually, and Zach Oates is back up into that 6th place position that he started in.
Yeah, Mika Hautayoki tried to battle his way through, and Ewan Lanauer got a bad launch out of turn 12 afterwards, so the Mercedes had to part over the Alfa Romeo then, so they had to really react quickly then, the both of them doing a fine job of that. DRS will be online on this lap, but we first used on the straight just after turn 11 in the brake zone towards turn 12, and of course, DRS online as long as you're within 1 second of the car ahead, riding aboard with that front wing of Andrew Korapi. His heart rate must be going through the roof now. He's 9th place. He hasn't had a point scoring position so far this season. To be 9th place at his home race, Justin, I'll say no more because I know what we're like. Let's move on to somebody else.
Yeah, exactly right. I imagine the pressure is going to be pretty brutal, and he's he is the only American from the start of the season to come in. So Hoopalicious isn't here today. Neither is Chandler Saita. So we do have B Dunk down in 14th position. He's American as well. But Burraps is the only of the Americans that started this season that is racing here today. So certainly I'm cheering him on, of course, because I'm American, and why wouldn't you? I assume all the British people are cheering for the British drivers, I would assume. But it's great to see. Look at this. Trivian in the points, filling in here today. No chance of going to the pro exhibition, but doing a great job keeping up to the back of Burraps and ahead of a number of cars. Oh, we're pointing out, by the way, I like to keep everybody informed. Everybody who started outside the top 10 is on the medium compound of tires.
So they're going for that alternate strategy. We have seen an alternate strategy work. It works in an aggressive way at the end of the race, but for those first 3-4 laps, it's the better tyre, and then it starts to be, sort of clouded over by the medium tyre in terms of race pace. So it depends when you put on those soft tyres. As Zach Oates sets the fastest lap of this race at 32.289, puts him now in that prime position to score that bonus point. So long as he finishes in the top 10, we've still got 11 laps of this race still to run. There is Desilewski in 2nd place. And for Christopher Parry, I mean, you always knew, Justin, that the pace was there. And in this second half of challenges, he has absolutely come alive.
Yeah, exactly. A real young talent. It's great to see him succeeding. Had a bit of a rocky start, as you said, but Pinecone has looked much more confident towards the latter stages of this season, really taking the fight to Caden Lutt, who has had a bit of his own ups and downs, but without a doubt, Caden Lutt looks stronger this season than I have ever seen him before. He is at another level this year.
Yeah, Christopher Parry, 2 wins to his name so far. Antoine Desilewski obviously winning at Monza as well, and getting the fastest lap bonus point. He also got a win in Austria, so he's been on a good run so far. Both these drivers in the top 2 have had 2 race wins this season. Both of them will want to make it 3. Caden Lutt is behind them, who's our overall series leader at this moment in time, just by the 3 points, of course, as we see them now making their way through that treble right-hander, as Caden Lutt also has 2 wins this season. So we're seeing a familiar theme going on here. 2 wins for the top 3 as we see cars coming into the pit lane. I believe Christopher Parry is in, and he is. Jonas Rutten follows him in, so Desilewski stays out. So let's see if that undercut will work for Christopher Parry.
Yeah, it worked pretty well yesterday. We saw it work yesterday, and it was pretty successful. Who was that? With Matthias on Vasta Racer, he was able to get that position by just pitting 1 lap early. So Clearly, it can be beneficial. We didn't see too much overcutting, if I remember correctly, here at Circuit of the Americas yesterday. So it'll be interesting to see how it works out. I assume Dezelewski and Lutt are both going to be coming in. Zach Oates is now in very clear air, and remember, was setting very quick lap times as well before, so that might be great news for him potentially. He's pulled a 1.5 second gap to the person that shares his pit box, which is Findayam in 4th position, and those are the remaining soft runners. So the top 4 as it stands right now are the only cars still left on 4. Oh my goodness, CRG Lutt up the inside into the heavy braking zone of turn 12. Pretty straightforward. That was very textbook actually.
It was. This Dezelewski, of course, didn't have the DRS to help him defend. Caden Lutt took advantage of that and now takes the lead of this race. We saw that as it was happening through the left-hand side there for Caden Lutt. He breezes past and now takes the lead of this race. He's not hanging around either because he wants to pull out that gap between himself and Antoine Dezelewski as they now make their way through in towards turn 19. I wonder if either of these drivers will find their way in towards the pit lane. Yes, they do. Caden Lutt with a very, very late call then to come into the pits then. And Dezelewski, I think he sort of knew that was coming as well as they now both make their way into the pit lane. Zach Oates also into the pits, and that leaves Mikko Hautajoki out there to go for another lap on his soft tyres. There is Christopher Parry making his way now in towards the final corner, on towards the start-finish line. Let's see where they emerge then. Caden Lutt now making his way out of the pit lane. You'll be able to see them on the left-hand side. Caden Lutt, there he is. Is he going to take the lead of this race then, or at least the net lead of this race? He does, in towards turn 1 he goes. He's clear of Christopher Parry. Caden Lutt jumps Christopher Parry in the pits.
And Antoine Dezelewski came out behind Brown, LVA Brown as well. So this has worked out incredibly well for CRG Lutt and also Brown as well, because he now has Antoine Dezelewski between himself and that crucial Sync Oates, Zach Oates in 10th position. Again, these will all change after the rest of the pit stops have taken place, but yeah, he's got a car in between him, which is very good. He wants to try and pull out a 3-second gap now if he can. He is within DRS range on Pinecone, so he's got the DRS just like Antoine Dezelewski does here, but so does Zach Oates. So yeah, Brown really needs to try and pull away and see if he can pull another position or two if he can. But unfortunately, the only 2 positions ahead of him are the 2 championship leaders, and I don't think they're going to be too keen to let the McLaren by.
No, I don't think they will. They'll certainly put up a fight, that is for sure. But for Leroy Brown, he's doing a great job so far. He knows he has to score those points, those very valuable points to get himself into the top 6 as Mikko Hautajoki Findayam comes now into the pit lane then to get onto a set of medium tyres. We still have Bart Fraz, Tom and Keneal all still out there on the medium tyres. So too is Bradley Duncan in 4th place. All of those drivers still have to make a mandatory stop. In fact, there they go then. You can just about see them going up towards turn 1. And that just shows you how quick these guys are. They're closing in. And, Caden Lutt only 7 seconds back from Bradley Duncan, who's currently 4th place. And a pit stop there is at least, we're talking 18 to 20 seconds going through the pit lane there.
Yeah, I want to say that gap was more like 9 seconds between the lower of the medium starters compared to the leading soft starter after the pit stop phase. But also, B-Dunk is also filling in, not somebody that was here all year long. It may have been very last minute, very minimal preparation. I don't know how much advance notice he would have gotten, how much time to prepare and stuff like that. So we don't want to be too analytical when we get into those gaps and stuff like that when it comes to the reserve drivers. I think they're doing a fantastic job, actually, of coming in and being straight onto the pace of the top guys. So more fantastic reserves from this season, actually.
Yeah, they're putting on a show, aren't they? I mean, they've got absolutely nothing to lose, so why not try something different? Why not try a different strategy? See how it goes, see if the strategy sticks to the wall, and you never know, you could score some points. We've seen some reserve drivers filling in and scoring some points in this series across all the platforms, so it just shows you it can be done, as we see now drivers coming into the pit lane then, as that's Bartek Fras coming into the pits. Interestingly, though, Tom Charles is that top Tom at the standings there, staying out for yet another lap.
Yeah, got to do an 8th lap on his set of mediums. I'd probably come in on this lap. I wouldn't want to do 9 laps on a set of mediums. Who was it that did 6 laps on the set of softs? Was it Findayam? I think, yeah, Findayam did 6 laps on the softs at the beginning of the stint. So certainly softs can do 6 laps at the end of a stint, you would expect. On board with Brown, again, part of that key battle for the top 6. He is the furthest down out of the 3 in that battle, though, coming into this race on just 44 points compared to the 58 of Zach Oates. And unfortunately, he's at the moment, oh no, and that is really going to hurt him. That's a second 3-second time penalty. That is 6 seconds worth of penalties. And at the moment, that would take him down a minimum of 6 positions, because you can see the next 6 drivers are all within 1 second of each other. So I think at the moment that would actually take him down to 10th position, 9th or 10th position, something like that. Yeah, that's pretty damaging. That's really going to hurt his championship.
That's a huge blow, because that means then, as it stands, he's currently in 4th place. We still have Tom Charles at the top of the table, then still yet to make a mandatory stop. So let's say he does go up into 3rd place. Well, that's 15 points then. If he gets affected by those 6 seconds that badly, as you said, Justin, with all these cars and drivers so close together, this will hurt him massively. And this might just be a huge dent into the points he could have scored here today. The problem is, if he tries to drive faster to try and negate those penalties, he's in trouble. Yeah. He's fallen all the way down the field. Then somewhere out there in sector 3, we didn't quite see what happened, but I was just saying then that the penalties would have, negated a really good chance of him to get onto the podium. And if he tries to drive faster, the penalties just come back to bite him. He might get even more penalties as well. And just as we said that, there is Leroy Brown down now to 9th place.
And with that 6 seconds worth of penalties still, unfortunately. And he's not going to have DRS on this straight here. You can see Tribion is all over the back of him. Tribion's looked quite quick as well, having qualified inside the top 10 as a reserve driver. Really impressive stuff, actually. And I fully expect the Williams is going to be keen to try and get by. And was that Brown? Yeah, that was Brown just getting out of the way, actually. I think he's essentially removed himself from that battle. He said, I don't want anything to do with it. Yep, 10-second time penalty for him as well. So yeah, I think he's pretty much out of it, which I think is going to really take him out of the championship fight as well. Here's Tribion and Bart Frast going side by side into the corner. Big lockup at the apex, but Bart Frast around the outside, actually getting the inside line for the next right-hander, looking comfortable. Oh, and Keneal is going to sneak past as well, and here comes Tom, because of course when the door opens, everybody just rushes through.
Yeah, everybody rushes through. Everybody wants that position as well. They see you there as vulnerable, and they want to take away that position. As Tom gets himself now a 3-second time penalty for that latest corner cut. Then he's trying to go around the outside at turn 19. Fair play to Tribune. He gives him the room in towards turn 20 then, as Tom Charles tries to go round the outside. He'll have the soft tyres, he'll have the better traction, and he'll have 11th place off of Tribune then, with Bradley Duncan just behind as well. These are these medium tyres against the soft tyre runners, but I think Tribune will just try and bide his time here. Laurent Perny we're riding on board with. He'll bide his time, because the soft tyre runners now will get to a point where they might be wearing off their tyres quite a lot. And there is Leroy Brown retiring from this session. Such a shame, because he was in a net 3rd place. If you take away all those penalties, he would have been on a net podium so fast around here. But those corner cuts and those penalties would have come back to bite him. Something says to me then that something's gone wrong. Otherwise, he wouldn't have got out of the way so severely as he did on the run down towards turn 11.
Yeah, I think you're right. Also, I'm wondering if Tribion has some sort of damage, because he went from 9th to 12th pretty quickly and has actually slipped out of DRS range now as well. So possibly some front wing damage for that Williams is causing him to drop outside of the points battle, which is really unfortunate. I love seeing the reserves come in and battle for the points, but Bart Frast still in there in 9th position. No penalties for him, and the 2 cars behind him, Keneal and Tom, both have penalties. So actually, it's looking like a couple of points are in order for Bart Frast coming in just for today's event 5.
Yeah, we've got yellow flags out there in sectors 2 and 3, and that looks like, well, Laurent Perny's dropped down the order slightly. He's found his way now down to 13th place. So Bradley Duncan's found his way through. So he might have just had a slight off-track excursion then. There is Miko Hautayoki, who's currently in the standings in 9th place. 48 points. The only problem is Zach Oates is up there into 4th place.
Yeah, so 4th place is 12 points. 8th place is 4 points. So that's 8th place. They already have 10 points between them. So that's going to be an 18-point gap to overhaul if they were to finish like this, which would mean he needs to finish 2nd in Abu Dhabi, and he needs Zach Oates to get 0 points. And even that might not be enough, because that would only put them level on points. So So it would end up going to count back, and I don't know if that favors him or not.
Let's have a look at a replay here. So this is Bradley Duncan getting a move then in towards turn 15. Up the inside he went then, got the move done, and then making a way through this treble right-hander. A very, very nice move as well, making those soft tyres to good use. As we rejoin this live action here, Mikko Hautajoki knows how important this will be. He's probably heard what Justin has said over this broadcast, and he's thinking, right, if I have to get second place in Abu Dhabi, let's make it a little less tricky for me into the final round. Let's get some positions. Ahead of him right now is Andrew Korapi.
Yeah, and he's going to be extremely interested in maintaining that position. In fact, I would imagine he's going to be eyeing up Iwan Ledauer for that 6th place position with how close he is. And Jonas Reuten isn't that far up the road either. He might be thinking, I'm on for a top 5 here after not scoring points all season long. What a story that would be.
What a story that would be in front of his home fans as well. That would be just the fairy tale for him. I think he'll probably just bow out of Abu Dhabi doing some donuts rather than racing it, because that would just top it. Everything that he said he wanted to get just some points on the board, see how competitive he was. He wanted to have fun, and currently within those points, well and truly on merit as well for Korapi as well. So you can't take that away from him either. Focusing at the pointy end of the field, then it is still Caden Lutt in the lead of this race. Christopher Parry in 2nd place with Des Zaluski in 3rd. Zach Oates will be doing his top 6 trials. No damage whatsoever by having a 4th place finish. Jonas Reuten there is in 5th place. Ewan Lenauer in 6th. Andrew Korapi in 7th place with Mikko Hautajoki in 8th place. Then Bartek Fras in 9th. And it's, I think that is, it's Kenneth Lindqvist. He's rounding out the top 10, and he's only finished in the points once so far. As we see one of the racing points go to the side then, take an inside line. I believe that was going to be, it is Keneal going now up into 9th place, getting the move then done on Bartek Fras, who in turn gets this a 3-second time penalty.
Ugh, yeah, that's unfortunate for him. He's lost the position, and he's also got a time penalty, which means he needs to take that position back if he wants that extra championship point from Keneal. So, that's not ideal for him, but he's got a couple of laps still left to do it. We're just starting the penultimate lap now. But just to further toot Burrops' horn a little bit here, he's currently in a battle with Jonas Reuten and Iwan Ledauer, who are 4th and 5th in the standings. So as you said, he is there on merit at the moment. People might be thinking, oh, there's so many drivers missing. We got people filling in, so that's the only reason that he's up there. Nope, he is running right behind 4th and 5th in the championship standings, and he's ahead of 9th. So genuinely really good pace from him today.
Really, really is, and he's definitely earned those points if he can get it to the checkered flag. We've got 2 laps to go, 1 and a bit if you're picky. Still Caden Lutt in the lead of this one, trying to grab win number 3 for his season then, with Christopher Parry right behind. Antoine Desaluski in 3rd place. Zach Oates just outside of DRS range from Antoine Desaluski, so he might find himself dropping back slightly in the latter stages of this race. As we now make our way on towards turn 12. Christopher Parry, though, is closing in on Caden Lutt, making our way down towards turn 12. Grab the popcorn. This is your last chance. We could be seeing a blockbuster battle between Lutt and Parry.
Looking forward to this one. And who knows, Antoine Desaluski might sneak past both of them. We've seen in this 2021 F1 Esports Challenger Series, we've seen a number of double overtakes. In the background, it looks like Tribbian and B-Dunk, the 2 Williams, are debating that 12th place position still. But we are all eyes focused on this battle here. Pinecone versus Lutt. This is the battle in the championship. This would put a further 7 points between Caden Lutt and Christopher Parry. It's just 3 points coming into this race as it stands right now as they get the white flag. Final lap, this time by 1 final attempt for Pinecone. He's looking to go up the inside, but no, he's too far back. Can't quite get alongside the Haas. He's going to have to stay back for the meantime. Look at that. Lutt really hugging that inside line through turn 2, not trying to open it up at all as Christopher Parry drops back a little bit. He's got 1 major attempt here, and that's into turn 12.
Yeah, he showed just one of his cars then in towards turn 1 there. Went to go down the inside, see what Lutt's reaction was like, because he still then had time, did Christopher Parry, to back out of that move. But it's cost him a little bit of time through the S section, making our way now down towards turn 11 for the final time in this race. Caden Lutt will not have DRS. Christopher Parry will. He'll be able to open that flap on the rear wing now. But look at that gap right now. It's 0.8 of a second. I think Caden Lutt's just put in a quali lap through sector 1 there, because he's built up that gap so enormously in the scale of things, because that gap's been around half a second, 0.6 of a second. It's now closer to a second than it has been pretty much all of this race. So Caden Lutt looks pretty comfortable now as he makes his way in towards turn 15. And just how much of that battery, that ERS battery, has Christopher Parry used as we make our way now through that long treble right-hander of 16, 17 and 18 before we get to the two left-handers of 19 and 20. There's room going up the inside of F1 Lanauer going through the treble right-hander. He's got that move done then. Meanwhile, Caden Lutt will come around the final corner to take the checkered flag and take win number 3 of his Challengers Series campaign. Christopher Parry in second place, Antoine Desilewski in third, with Zach Oates in fourth, Jonas Rutten getting a move done on Ewan Lanauer, 5th and 6th through the treble right-hander. Andrew Koropi gets some points on the board at his home race, with Mikko Hautajoki in 8th place, Bartek Fras in 9th place, with Tom rounding off the top 10. Let's grab a moment here to gather our thoughts. Caden Lutt's 3rd race win of Challengers, but what a move further down the order for a place in the top 6. Bart Fras grabs the in-game driver of the day. Justin, a whole lot to unpack there. Another undercut seems to have worked.
Jonas Rutten is my new hero. That was absolutely incredible. On the final lap, around the outside, through 16, 17, and 18. Absolutely insane. Really, really incredible. I have said multiple times that some of the best stuff we've seen this season has been around the outside, and Jonas Rutten has just added his name to that list.
Well, absolutely. And we make our way now to these official, unofficial results. And Caden Lutt grabs win number 3 from 3rd place on the grid to win at the United States Grand Prix here in F1 Esports Challengers. Christopher Parry in 2nd place, with Antoine Desilewski in 3rd. Zach Oates finishes in 4th place, with Jonas Rutten in 5th. Edwin Lanauer in 6th place. Then Andrew Koropi in 7th place, with Mikko Hautajoki in 8th place. Bartek Fras in 9th place, with VRT Tom rounding off our top 10. To take you through the rest of the order then, Trivian in 11th place, Keneal in 12th, Dunk in 13th, and Radio Nix rounding off the top 14. Of course, we lost Leroy Brown in that race early on. And Tom not only gets 10th place and 1 point, but he also gets the bonus point for fastest lap of the race, the only driver into the 131s.
Nice. Really, really nice. Good to see, once again, some people coming in and just playing the reserve game and picking up points. You love to see it. Here we go. This is what everyone wants to see at home.
There we see then, Edwin Lanauer gets a little bit of a tank slapper out of turn 15. That opens up the door for Jonas Rutten to simply go up the inside through 16, through 17, through 18 and take away that position then. So Rutten leaves it late to grab 5th place. But my oh my, did he just make it in time to get 5th place?
I thought he went around the outside. I thought he went around the outside, but no, he got the inside line. Yeah, that was a little bit easier than it looked, but still really, really impressive. Glad to see him get that position because, yeah, he lost it right at the end there. That was going on in the background when we were talking about the battle for the lead. I could just see in the background that they were swapping positions at the end of the DRS straight. But in the end, he took that position straight back.
Are you still standing by your hero status for Jonas Rutten then?
Still a hero, yeah. I love anybody that makes it overtake into that corner. That's incredible.
And I tell you what, that being awarded by Justin Sutton, that's no mean feat whatsoever. But let's unpack that race because Caden Lutt, win number 3 for him, takes him further ahead in the standings and pretty much at that point secures his place into the top 6. Of course, not official just yet. We'll have to wait to Abu Dhabi to confirm that for you. We sat here for ages talking about the points and I think we got 6 ways to nowhere doing that, Justin. But a fantastic performance from him, and the undercut works yet again.
Yeah, I think the top 3 are probably all safe now after those performances, because actually they finished that race in the positions that they are in the championship, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they sure did. The top 3 did anyway. So Lutt, who was leading the championship coming into this race, won, followed by a Christopher Parry, who's 2nd in the championship, and Antoine Desilewski, who's 3rd in the championship. So, yeah, they're all kind of extending their gaps. Unfortunate for Desilewski, though. I really thought that he was going to have a solid chance at picking up the win here today after picking up that pole. But again, it really just seems that pole position at Circuit of the Americas is a bit cursed.
Yeah, and I think the PC drivers will be thinking about that tomorrow as well. They've seen
Yeah.
twice that second place is the place to be. You've got the inside line, and in theory, first place should have the traction off the line because that's where the racing line is. But that's all in theory, Justin.
Yeah, exactly right. Unfortunately, it just hasn't worked out like that for the two starts that we've had. Still have one to go. Just in case anybody's confused, we got another race still to go right now, and then we got 2 more races still to come tomorrow for the PC side as well. Those will be the final 2 races of the 2021 Challenger Series. I cannot believe it.
Flown by, hasn't it? Absolutely flown
It
by. And
has.
that just shows us that we've had some good races on the cards as well.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's flown by for you, Justin, probably is a relief, because you all want to see the end of me, that's for sure. But I mean, let's talk about Christopher Parry. He got pole position there, put in a great lap time in qualifying, and then he managed to get second place in the end. But I tell you, there could have been a bit more for him.
Yeah, he will be. He'll probably be a little bit frustrated. He did get very, very close. There was a couple of times where he was within, I want to say, a 1/10 of a second or so of Lutt as they got into the braking zone for turn 10. So, he didn't gain that position. He didn't get that win that he would have wanted to, but he did manage to finish ahead of Antoine Desalewski anyway. I don't remember exactly how that happened. Was that just just Run At It saying that they love these commentators? Thank you, Just Run At It. We appreciate you saying that. But yeah, Pinecone will be probably a little bit frustrated about that because now he needs some bad luck, because now the gap is going to be 10 points? 10 points it's going to be. So he needs a little bit of help from somebody else for Lutt to finish down in third. He needs to win the next race, and he needs Lutt to finish down in third. That is the way forward for Pinecone if he wants to try and pick up the win. He did jump in, by the way, to interview really quickly, which I really appreciate considering we still have a race to go in this broadcast. But shout out to Pinecone for actually trying to get interviewed between the 2 races. That's impressive.
That's a mindset, isn't it? He's willing to have an interview. I think he quickly realised, actually, no, it's a quick turnaround. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, I should probably,
But no, fair play to him for giving it a 10 seconds at the very least of a thought there of having an interview. But no, I don't have any trouble about drivers not coming in halfway through. I'd rather they have it at the end, fully focused. Then no one can blame us, Justin. That's the most important thing.
Exactly.
That's pretty much the most important thing. So let's have a look at the top 6 then. I mean, further down into the top 6, we've had Zach Oates, who finished there. I believe he finished in 4th place. So that's a really good set for him. 12 points added to his tally. That takes him up to 70 points. And that's a huge number because that's sort of the number we're expecting those sort of outskirts of the top 6 to actually be.
Yeah, exactly. And they did end up finishing in the way that we were describing during the race. So it is going to be 18 points heading into the final race. So Findeum needs second place. That is the only way forward for him. He is not in the top 6 currently. He needs second place, 18 points, and he needs Zach Oates to score 0 points. 0 points. And again, that would end up on countback. And I don't know if he would win that because I don't know where Zach Oates got his 2 podiums. Was one of those a second place finish? I don't remember. It wasn't a win. We know that much. But it could end up determining who's going to come out on top. Or if Findeum really wants to go the easy route, he could just win the race.
It could. That's an easy route. That is a very easy route.
Easy.
I will say that. Oh, I have to say as well, we have got some provisional standings coming our way at the moment, and from what I can see, this is as it stands at the moment. We've got Caden Lutt on 132 points, Christopher Parry on 120. We've got Antoine Desalewski now in 3rd place on 110, Jonas Rutten in 4th on 92, Edwin Lanauer in 5th on 82, Zach Oates in the top 6 now on 70 points. Then it's Miko Hautayoki then on 53 points. And we've got Leroy Brown then, who's the last of them. Unfortunately, didn't get any points there. 44 points, 10th place. And if we try and work that out, Justin, a win for him would draw him level with Zach Oates, but that's if Zach Oates doesn't score any points in Abu Dhabi. So it's all for Zach Oates at the moment, who, with that 4th place, has got himself in a really good position to try and secure that top 6 place.
Yeah, exactly right. Oh, and unfortunately, breaking news, Leroy Brown has experienced some wheel failure. And unfortunately, that's what led to him extending. Because, of course, these guys are right on the limit. So if you experience any sort of malfunction with your wheel, then you're going to be off your game. You're going to be extending a little bit. And, of course, these rules are very strict when it comes to track extending and quarter cutting and all of that kind of stuff. You pick up 3 warnings, you pick up a 3-second time penalty. And unfortunately, as you kind of described in the race, actually, it just kind of snowballed from there. He just picked up, and then once he picked up the second penalty, he kind of knew that was it. He pulled off and he retired. And unfortunately, I think that's going to be it for him today. As you said, he really would need to win the race in order, and with experiencing hardware problems, that's not likely to happen. So I really feel for Leroy Brown. I've been commentating on him for a number of years. I think he's a fantastic driver. One of those drivers that doesn't always qualify well, but is really clever in the race, tends to work his way forward. So I was really excited to see how quick he was at Circuit of the Americas. I really thought he was going to do it. I thought he was going to sneak into the top 6 with that kind of pace, and it's really unfortunate. But you know, he's got to think to himself that he had the pace, he had the skill to do it. It's the hardware that let him down, not himself. Focus for next year. Hopefully things will turn out a little bit better.
Yes, hopefully as well. We have got, he changed his mind, Justin. We have got Pinecone with us right about now. Christopher Parry, can you hear us?
I can, yeah.
Christopher, well, talk us through that race, because you had pole position side by side into turn 1, and it almost seemed pole position was a bit of a negative for you.
Yeah, it's usually when I'm in here it's a bit more positive than obviously right now, but yeah, USA in practice, you know, I was struggling, but in the session got a lap together, got myself on the front row, and then again I've been really struggling on race starts, but got it together, took the lead, and yeah, was surprisingly out in front. I definitely did not expect to be there. And then yeah, on this game, strategy in 25% races is all about trying to go your own way, trying to make sure that you pit on a lap that no one else does, so you don't get held in the pits. That's the main thing, really. And in practice, I felt like the softs were quite durable, so I thought people would go longer. I thought it was going to be sort of 5 to 7 as your pit window, so I thought, right, I'll go a lap earlier, I'll pit lap 4, and hopefully I won't get held. But unfortunately, I think 3 or 4 cars behind also came in the same lap, and then yeah, that was kind of that after that. And then yeah, I'm just faced with an impossible situation, really. I'm behind with older tyres, and at USA you don't want to be behind, because obviously your main passing zone's down the back straight, and you've got to follow through the first sector, which is just, you know, huge amounts of dirty air through there. And also it's tricky with the corner cone, because you can't really see the apexes with the car in front of you. So it was always going to be impossible once I came out in second place. Surprise, like, the lead is where you actually want to be in USA. It's not kind of like other tracks where you can just sit in and pass on the final lap. You can't really do that. At USA, you've got to be in the lead. But yeah, just unfortunately, you know, it's happened to everybody throughout the season, being held in the pits. I've kind of got the rub of the green so far, but unfortunately it's caught up with me now. So it's out of my hands. I'll just do what I can do in Abu Dhabi and see what happens.
Well, Christopher, it's been a pleasure. Yeah, best of luck for Abu Dhabi. We'll leave you to it now, but thank you for talking to us in this very quick turnaround.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
So yeah, Christopher Parry then 12 points separates himself and Caden Love for that top spot in Challengers. And we saw how much it meant to Valentin Bruffer last night. He was absolutely, you know, over the moon with it by a single point as well. And the stage is set then, Justin, for the final round of Challengers here for the Xbox drivers. And most of that top 3 have been decided now, unofficially, of course, because we can't call that final order. But all eyes will be on that battle between Zach Oates and Miko Hautayoki for what will be that last 6th place, that last ticket into the Pro Exhibition. We make our way then to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix here on Yas Island underneath the floodlights to round off the Xbox side of Challengers. And it's a roughly the similar size circuit then. 5.5 kilometers takes us round 21 corners then in the Yas Island circuit, as we see the undulation changes really happen in the first sector. It's a relatively flat circuit after that, with 2 DRS zones, one towards turn 8, the other towards turn 11, 12 and 13, for a good chance of overtakes there. But that chicane can catch you out. can run side by side, but you have got to have the utmost respect and the utmost leaving the gap scenario possible. And you can see the run, turn 16 into turn 17, that right-hander there. You've got to do a little bit of trail braking into 16 there, or just after, I should say. Try and straighten up the wheel before you put the brakes heavily on. Otherwise, you'll lock up those front tyres. But of course, one-shot qualifying coming up. The drivers only have one chance to get a lap time on the board. If they invalidate their lap, or it's not a valid lap in any way, they are going to the back of the grid. And how about that for a hotel then? A good view for for anybody staying over to have a good view of this race. So the track goes underneath the hotel, just between turns 19 and 18 there. So a nice view for them. And Justin, qualifying moments away, who are you backing for that top spot?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm going to go with Pinecone. I think he's going to be spurred on after that disappointing race, after that bad luck in the pit lane for him. I think he's going to be exceedingly fast and probably clean as well, too. So, yeah, I think I'd probably give it to him. But who knows? I mean, yesterday we saw Time and Shooter qualify down in 9th.
We'll bat to find out then here in Abu Dhabi as we make our way on towards one-shot qualifying here at Abu Dhabi with the standing shake-up on the left-hand side. We're watching Tribbian then make his way now in through turn 2 and onwards towards turn 3. Then we go through that slight left-hander of turn 4 as we now go down towards turns 5 and 6, then braking for this chicane before we head towards turn 7. And this hairpin here, very, very important to make sure you don't get any wheel spin through here. Take a good line, take the apex if you can, and then go up the gears. Through the gears we go then towards turn 8. DRS wide open as we make our way towards the first, or I should say the second of the many chicanes here at Yas Marina. Braking hard then at some point. They're just past the 100-meter board towards the 60-meter board if there was one, as we switch the view then to Tom Charles. Then he makes his way out of turn 9 onwards through turn 10. Tribbian now taking over then as we watch the cameras then making our way towards turn 11 and towards the very final sector where the drivers will start to realise this is mainly a 90-degree corner section. You're met with the chicane at first through 11, 12 and 13. Watch the curbs through there. They can easily upset the car. Through turn 14 we go back onto the power as we then make our way through this double right-hander, flat out through 15, flat out through 16, but you have to think about your braking point now in towards 17. Very easy to lock a brake through there as you're braking and turning at the same time. Through turn 18 underneath the hotel, through turn 19 we go, and onwards then towards turn 20. Get close to that wall on the exit of 19 to open up the exit of the corner. Through turn 20 and through turn 21. Who's it going to be on pole position here in Abu Dhabi? It's Antoine Desaluski who grabs pole position by a huge margin in Challengers terms. It's about half a second he grabs pole position by, but it's Desaluski who grabs pole position for Abu Dhabi.
That is massive. 3.5 tenths. That's insane.
That's insane for Challengers as well, as the field gets tight after that. But Desaluski, more than 0.3 of a second he grabs pole position by. Zach Oates puts himself in a huge opportunity to grab that last top 6 spot. Second place on the grid, Caden Lutt in third, with Miko Hautayoki up in 4th place, Jonas Rutten in 5th, Tom Charles then as a reserve up into 6th place then with Christopher Parry down in 7th place, Bartek Fras in 8th place, Andrew Korapi in 9th, with Dunk there rounding off the top 10, Tribbian in 11th, Radionix in 12th, and then Keneal and Ewan getting their lap times disqualified. So they must have cut a corner somewhere. Their lap times were deleted, and they'll have to start at the back of the grid.
Turns out Pinecone was the timing of Xbox, unfortunately for him, and becomes the one to kind of qualify outside of the position that you would expect from him. In fact, he's behind the other Ferrari of Tom, so he's not even the leading Ferrari. And Tom is a reserve driver. So, yeah, unfortunately, I think I may have cursed Pinecone by picking him for pole position. But holy cow, 2 poles in a row for Antoine Desaluski. And again, by such a margin as well, a 32.3. Unbelievably fast from him, I have to say. And also, this has to be really frustrating for Findayam. He qualifies 4th, but unfortunately, the guy that he needs to beat qualifies 2nd.
Yeah, when you put that much effort into it as well, and your arrival just comes up with something better, well, we're about to find out how that's going to all pan out then as we count up to the finale for Xbox Challengers. It is 5 red lights. We're racing in Abu Dhabi. What are the starts like then? Does Desaluski take advantage of his pole position start? He'll be on the outside as we head in towards turn 1. Zakos tries to move up the inside. Caden Lutt wants to take advantage then, but he's onto the outside part. Going through turn 2 we go. Jonas Rutten managing to hold on to 4th place as we go almost side by side, almost touching then. Going through turn 4, now in towards turns 5 and turn 6. So you can see Rutten trying to go up the inside, going through turn 6. Through turn 7 we will go, and Zakos managing to hold on just for now as we now make our way on towards the long back straight. Then onwards we go towards turn 8. Everybody making it through just for now. Christopher Parry meanwhile trying to get a move done here on Mikko Hautajoki. Started 7th place, already up 1 position. Can he find one more as we make our way in towards turn 8? Last of the late breakers will be Christopher Parry. He'll have the inside line going in towards turn 9. He clatters the curb though, might cost him on the exit, but he gets the power down and now moves up into 5th place. From that start then, is Desaluski still in the lead, then Caden Lutt in 2nd place. Meanwhile then, we've got Mikko Hautajoki trying to fight back then of that 5th place, and Christopher Parry onto the curb then, has to back out of it, drops down to 6th place. Mikko Hautajoki back up into 5th place, and in a race where he's going to have that steely nerve more than ever, he's got Zakos in 3rd place. He cannot afford to be conservative.
A bit of a gap has already started to form between 4th and 5th as well. It's more than 1 second. So when DRS gets activated in a couple laps times, less than 2 laps time, in fact, certainly he's going to be feeling that one. He's going to have Pinecone all over the back of him, assuming that the man currently sitting in 2nd position in the championship hasn't already taken advantage of the lack of slipstream that he's going to be picking up, certainly on the straights, and might squeeze his way through. 1.3, 1.2 now for Van Dam. He's actually starting to close in. And look at that, up at the front, Antoine Desaluski also starting to build the gap. He's trying to get Lutt out of his DRS range.
Yeah, 0.3 of a second then in qualifying. It's starting to going to add up then in this race as Desaluski tries to build that gap, try and get out of DRS zone before it's activated on the 3rd lap of this race, as we see then the drivers making their way through the hairpin onwards then towards that long back straight on towards turn 8. There is Tribby, and then down in 13th place we've got Tom into the pit lane then very early on. I wonder if that's going to be for damage, because pitting in this early around Abu Dhabi doesn't seem like the greatest idea in the world. Meanwhile, Lanao goes up the inside of Korapi and grabs away 8th place from the American. Lanao now up into 8th place, and now his next target will be Bartak Fras ahead.
Yeah, who's the leading car in the reserve drivers, up in 7th position as it stands right now, and a 1.8 second gap between himself and Iwan Lanauer in 8th position down there. But still in the points is Andrew Korapi, Baraps 19 in 9th position, as is B-Dunk as well, good old B-Dunk. And Radionics right behind him as well, which I'm sure Jake Racing will be thrilled about. Apparently Jake Racing, big fan of Radionics. I don't know if that's actually how you pronounce his name, but I'm choosing to pronounce it that way.
You can pronounce many a way. I'm sure it can. And I'm sure they'll correct you, Justin, if you're absolutely wrong. Even if you're slightly wrong, they'll correct you as well. Desaluski then, of course, setting the fastest lap of the race, being at the head of the field, 34.9. DRS is now online. And of course, the first chance the drivers will be able to use that is onwards then towards turn 8, that very long straight. But you'll normally see the drivers don't normally try a move there. The reason why, Justin, is there's 2 separate detection points. One just as you exit turn 7, and then another just after you exit turn 9.
Yeah, exactly. So it makes things a little bit more complicated. You don't necessarily want to overtake as you get into that heavy braking zone at the turn 8 chicane. Or turns 8 and 9 chicane, I should say, actually. So yeah, it's not that straightforward. You might want to sit back, maybe just fuel save a little bit, ERS save a little bit. Make sure you have the battery and the fuel towards the end of the race. A little bit further back, it looks like Keneal actually taking that final points paying position off of Radionics for 10th position. Again, this is with DRS active now. Ooh, look at that. Pinecone on Van Dam just up the road here from this battle. They're going to be side by side, inside line for Pinecone. And is he going to be late enough on the brakes? He is, and he does manage to take that 5th place position off of Van Dam.
He does indeed. So trying to make the moves there. Oh, I might have had a spinner in the background there. I think that was Keneal going in towards turn 11. Just saw the back end snap on him there, and he's lost a couple of positions. He's now outside of the points. Goes wide on the exit there as we make our way now in through 15, through 16, and then towards turn 70. And you see there Tribbian right behind, looking to try and take advantage. But that's going to put Radio Nix up into 10th place, up into the top 10.
That's right. Yeah, and B-Dunk now up into 9th position, a couple of points actually, doubling his points tally, as it were. But Bartfras continues to be the leading car in terms of the replacements, the people filling in for today, and sticking to the back of Findayam rather well, I have to say. Really impressive, actually, to see him in 7th and keeping up with that group up ahead of him. This is that moment between Radionics and Keneal. As you can see, the Racing Point much later onto the brakes. A bit of a lockup into that corner, but looking all good. And then he comes on to the next straight. So that was through the first chicane, and that's what we were talking about earlier. And then they would have had a little bit more action as they got down towards the next chicane at the end of the second DRS zone. So Pinecone, though, has managed to get past Findayam and is now working on closing down that gap to Jonas Reuten up ahead. That had increased. Ooh, as Iwan Lanauer picks up a 3-second time penalty. That's not ideal for him. That would drop him behind B-Dunk, in fact.
It would be tight at the moment.
Yeah.
At the moment, it'd be okay. But, yeah, it's on the bubble right now, but we've still got 10 laps to go in this race. 9 and a bit if you're going to be picky to run in this race. So we are just... very early on to be getting a penalty, that is for sure, as Keneal also gets himself onto the wall. He's actually got back past Radionics and now back into the top 10 after that slight mistake in towards the second, or I should say third chicane, really, as now the drivers make their way. We're watching Zach Oates making his way through the penultimate corner, then towards turn 21, and he's decided to be one of the first ones into the pits. Who's beaten him there? Caden Love. We've got a replay here then.
Oh, yeah. I was just saying he's going to skip turn 21 entirely, actually, and pull off into the pits. And this was what was going a little further back.
Ah, does he get a tap there?
Oh.
Trivian. Maybe that's why the back end snapped on him. And that would make sense, because Trivian then stayed behind. He would have otherwise attacked there. I think there was a little bit of contact between the two of them, but no harm done, no foul play. The two of them just coming together and settling it out on track. Zach Oates then emerging from the pit lane, still behind Caden Lutt, of course. So there is Lutt then onto some medium tyres. So too is Zach Oates. We see then how this is all going to play out. We've already seen how powerful an undercut is. We'll see how powerful it can be around Abu Dhabi. But Desaluski stays out in the lead. 4.5 seconds between himself and Christopher Parry.
I'm not surprised he stayed out one bit, because the gap that he built up on pure pace alone was truly impressive. I think it was 1.7 or thereabouts the last time I saw it. I didn't see what it was as they came into the pits, but I'm not surprised at all. Antoine Desaluski probably rightfully thinks that he can stay out and come out with fresher tires and still be ahead. So here we go. Trivian and Radionics. Oh, and another bit of a spin. Not ideal. So another slight coming together. Unfortunately, turn 11, the braking zone at turn 11, has proven to be a little bit costly for some of these drivers.
It's where all the action's been happening for Trivian at the moment, as we want to try and iron that out. But we see Christopher Parry then coming into the pit lane, because Desaluski's also into the pits as well. Does anybody follow him in? Yes, Mikko Hautajoki follows him in. Bartek Fras also into the pit. Erwin Lanauer, though, takes the lead of this race then, as he looks to try and get some moves on the board, then try and now extend his lead at the top. Keneal also staying out. We see the Mercedes there of trying to figure out who that was. That was Zach Oates. So we'll see now. Christopher Parry off the limiter. Underneath the track you go then, and then rejoin round the outside at turn 3. But Zach Oates looks like he's going to stay well ahead of Pinecone then. So where does Christopher Parry rejoin? He rejoins behind Jonas Reuten, so he's 5th now in that running between Antoine Desaluski and himself.
He may have gotten held up in the pits again. He said that actually he had been quite lucky in the pit lane all season long, and then didn't have great luck at Circuit of the Americas, and unfortunately I think it may have happened to him again, because that is really unfortunate for him. He's got a huge gap to Antoine Desaluski, who's essentially the current leader. And yeah, he did come out ahead of Caden Lutt. Antoine Desaluski still outside of the DRS range, or too far ahead of Caden Lutt for the Haas to be picking up any sort of DRS. And he's got 1 lap fresher tires. This is one of the most dominant performances we've seen all season long, actually. This is incredible from Desaluski.
Well, can he pull that to his advantage as well? He's got a huge advantage then, as we're on
got traffic too.
Yeah, he's got traffic as well, but also that traffic will have to pit in at some point in this race. We've already seen how hard they've had to battle. Radionics and Trivian going to be battling for what is right now 3rd place, and Desaluski might just get slightly caught up in it. He'll be hoping they pit in on this lap. We see one of the cars pit in. I think that was Radionics who comes in, and it is. So that just leaves Trivian That's going to be full position. There's nothing in the rulebook that says Tribian has to make this easy for Antoine Desaluski. That is full position, but they're on different strategies. Oh, big tank slapper then from Desaluski on the exit of turn 1 as he now makes his way through turn 3. What he'll be hoping for is he can get this move dispatched quickly and just sort of try and take away the gap that Caden Lutt would be closing in. But it's all well and good saying that. Doing it's quite another thing.
Oh, and a 3-second time penalty for Pinecone as well, too. That is so unfortunate. I imagine at this point, he's just going to be throwing his hands in the air and saying, whatever, at this point, because, yeah, it's just not gone his way. Oh, here we go. Antoine Desaluski is going to make quick work of Tribian using those much, much fresher medium compound tires and a bit of DRS as well. And I imagine Tribian is just going to be happy to fuel save behind the Red Bull. Pick up that DRS, do a little bit of fuel saving, pick up that slipstream. He's not going to attack him back or anything like that. Certainly, I wouldn't expect, and he doesn't indeed. Stays behind, and Antoine Desaluski now actually has a car between himself and Caden Lutt. And that is part of the, people love to say, traffic giveth and taketh away. And that's one of those situations. He did get held up a little bit by Tribian, but now it's Caden Lutt's turn.
You say he got held up, but the gap didn't really move from where it was
wasn't
before.
Massive. Yeah, I don't think he got held up much at all. It did get smaller, though. I did notice that Caden Lutt did get closer to Antoine Desaluski, but it wasn't by a ton.
Here's Christopher Parry then, trying to get a move done on Jonas Root, and then in towards turn 8. Does he get that braking done? Yeah, just about. Managed to slow that car down, but that is Pinecone then up into 7th place. He has got a penalty, though. That'll be added to the end of his race. So that was earlier on in this race. We've got Aaron Lanawa into the pits then to put on a set of soft tyres. Tribian also in to do the same. So that just leaves Keneal then as the only driver left to stop in this race, currently on the medium tyres. You should expect him to come into the pits very soon, this Kenneth Lindqvist, to go onto the soft tyres. So there is your net race leader then, Antoine Desaluski, looking to try and get his 3rd race win of the season, and he's pulled a 3-second gap between himself and Caden Lutt.
Yeah, that has absolutely worked into his favor. I was worried for Antoine Desaluski that traffic was going to cause a problem for him, but no, it's actually worked out the complete opposite way. He's managed a 3-second gap and all of that, looking very comfortable on board with Burr Epps and picking up the DRS off of VRT time. A 3-second time penalty for Jonas Reuten is great news for Pinecone, but doesn't really matter. Pinecone's going to get into the top 6 no matter what. And as long as he's behind Caden Lutt, he's not going to be finishing in 1st position anyway. So at this point, I imagine it's a bit whatever for him. But that is unfortunate for Jonas Reuten. Here we go. Burr Epps side by side down towards that turn 11 where we've seen so much action so far. But it looks like he's going to comfortably pull ahead of the Ferrari before the braking zone even. So no side by side, no contact, no spinning, no drama whatsoever for the pair.
Yep, so that's Andrew Korapi then up into 11th place. He's now got Bradley Duncan ahead of him, one of the reserve drivers. Both reserve drivers are surrounding him at the moment. There is Christopher Parry then making his way on towards the start-finish straight. A little bit of a tank slapper on the exit, but it's Caden Lutt right ahead of him now as we make our way through turn 1. So there you can see that Christopher Parry has got a penalty, so too has Jonas Reuten. So that's a huge opportunity then for Mikko Hautajoki. He's not out of this one yet, but seeing one of his rivals, Zakos, all the way up into 2nd place will be a huge blow.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Findam. I mean, pretty much they need their positions to be reversed right now in order for this to go Findam's way, and then he would need Zach's engine to explode or something like that. But yeah, Zakos now in 2nd position. He takes over that spot of the person who is going to have the ever-increasing gap between themselves and Antoine Desaluski, because that guy is absolutely on fire in Abu Dhabi tonight, just lighting the world on fire. 3.6 seconds now is the gap, and there's still more than 5 laps of racing to go. Again, I'm going to say it, one of the most dominant performances we've seen all season long.
Yeah, it really is. And 3.5 seconds here in challenges is a huge, massive margin. It's massive. Considering the fact that we've had lots of races where drivers are within a second of each other, especially into the top 3, the top 4. To have a driver leading by nearly 4 seconds, it's beyond us, that is for sure, as Tom Charles picks up a 3-second time penalty. Quite a few penalties being handed out. You can see the black and white diagonal flags indicating that the driver in question has a penalty that will be applied to the end of the race as we make our way onto the start-finish line. Desaluski then leads with 5 to go. Zach Oates in second place. I mean, Justin, if you're Zach Oates right now, you've got second place. You've got Caden Lutt and Christopher Parry behind. So too Jonas Rutten. You're going to try and hold on to second place for as long as you can. You've got your rival then for that final 6th place spot in the standings in Mikko Hautajoki down in 6th place. What on earth is going through your mind at that point?
I mean, I really would be hoping that Pinecone and Lutt start to battle each other. They're both with Comrade Gaming, though, so I don't know if that's necessarily going to happen. Looking a little bit further back at Trivian, who's trying to find his way past the Burraps, actually. He's trying to make use of these soft compound tires to get past the car ahead, the Alpha Tauri, but unfortunately for him, he's going to have to stay behind for the meantime, but he might be able to get him into the DRS zone. He's got BRT Tom still within DRS range, but I don't think much of a threat as they get into the braking zone. And here he goes, Trivian with the inside line into that first braking zone is with the soft compound tires as well. Should be able to brake later, get that good traction out of that slow speed chicane as well to build enough of a gap between himself and Burrup so that he doesn't have to worry about having to defend into turn 11. But back up at the front, Stinkoats leading this train, 4.5 seconds, the ever-expanding gap between first and second place.
Yeah, it's a huge gap at this moment in time, and it's one that Antoine Desaluski should relish, because it's not often you get a chance to have such a lead at the top of the table at this moment in time. But we'll have to see how he can get on in the rest of this race. He's got 4 laps to go then, 4-second gap, but right behind him too, Zach Oates in second place has got a couple, more than a couple I should say, of drivers who want his second place as they make their way through turn 2, then through turn 3, and then we go downhill through turn 4. And Desaluski came into tonight, into the last race on 110 points, so maybe an outside chance from grabbing the series win. There's Lanawa then getting past Mikko Hautajoki. That was for 6th place, so Hautajoki's chances of getting into that top 6 wane as each lap goes on, and it doesn't help as well if a position goes like that as well. Desaluski still leading, but there you can see Christopher Parry half a second back from Caden Lutt. You've got Lanawa who's on a charge. He wants to try and go down the inside of Jonas Rutten here. He wants that. He does do it. He'll be round the outside for turn 9. Does he get the traction? Yes, he does. He gets the position too. And Elwin Lanawa up now into 5th place. Will Rutten have a chance to have a go back at him as we head in towards turn 11? Will he think about it? No, he won't this time around. So Lanawa up into 5th place. His next target, Christopher Parry for 4th place.
Hugely impressive overtake. There was a little bit of contact between the two of them. I think he went a little bit deep into the corner, but no damage for either car. Able to continue on was Jonas Rutten. So, yeah, I think that was fair. Firm, but fair. But, yeah, great to see an overtake like that. It certainly didn't make it easy. Jonas Rutten is an incredibly talented driver, so as are all of the drivers on this grid. So, yeah, great to see that battling between the two of them. But this is a very tight part of the field now, and it certainly, if I were Zach Oates, I would be freaking out looking in my rearview mirror and seeing all of these incredibly competitive drivers. Now, one thing that he does have going for him, at least, is that 3 of the drivers in this train all have time penalties. This has, in fact, been one of the worst races for time penalties that we've seen from these guys, picking up quite a few of them. Oh, and now Zach Oates is going to add his name to that list, which means it's 2nd position for Caden Lutt, which is really going to be helpful for him to ensure that he does not lose the championship to Antoine Desaluski.
Well, what it opens up is Findeum could have an opening now. He needs to take advantage of that. He needs to keep it clean for the rest of this race. Lanawa sizing up Pinecone for a move, then in towards turn 8 we go. Up the inside, he's on the soft tyres. He'll try and hang it around the outside at turn 9. Does he get that move done? No, he doesn't this time around. Christopher Parry does not let him go by that easily. He's got another chance down in towards turn 11. Pinecone's trying to defend the inside line for all it's worth. Lanawa sends one in towards turn 11. Can they keep it clean through turn 12? They do, and Lanawa takes that position away from Christopher Parry. He's now up into 4th place, and then Pinecone runs a little bit too deep, then in towards 14. He's now under pressure from Jonas Rutten, who now finds the move through in towards 15 and 16, and just like that, Christopher Parry is now down into 6th place.
I don't know who's keeping up with this at home, but Iwan Lanauer, who just took 4th position, by the way, started this race in 14th position. That is now 10 positions gained for the Alfa Romeo. that has got to be worthy of driver of the day, at least for this race, as another time penalty for Keneal, a 3-second time penalty for him as well, as Pinecone as well goes a bit deep at the exit of turn 1. That's going to be suboptimal. It's going to lose him a little bit of time to Jonas Reuten up the road from him, but really, really impressive stuff. I think Iwan Lanauer is very close to getting the DRS off of Caden Lutt here as well. Now, he does have a penalty, so it's going to be interesting to see how that works out, but this, a lovely drift out of the hairpin there for Pinecone. So it's going to be interesting to see how this works out with only 1 lap remaining, 1.5 laps or so.
This is Jonas Reuten, then we're riding on board with him. As you see then Lanauer and Christopher Parry, a little bit of contact coming out of turn 9 there. Then Lanauer had a little bit of a run once again down towards turn 11, and we'll see on board with Jonas Reuten here, taking advantage of this battle there. You see Lanauer diving up the inside then. Christopher Parry he ran out of road. He had to back out of it there. And so Lanauer takes the position. Parry then seems to just miss his braking point there. Jonas Reuten slips through, says, "Thank you very much. I'll take 5th place away from you."
I wonder if he's picked up some end plate damage or something minor like that, which would be well. That was a great shot, but unfortunately I couldn't pause it to see the health of his front wing. But of course, certainly that could play a role potentially. Iwan Lanauer seems to have not stopped on track, but stopped gaining on Caden Lutt. You can see it's actually 1.1 seconds now. It was 1 second previously. So he is in fact losing a little bit of time as the white flag is out for the final time on the Xbox side.
Yes, absolutely. We've still got the PC challenges to decide tomorrow night. So tune in. Make sure you do tune in back to see which of the last 6 will be able to make it. In just a few moments' time, we'll be able to see which 6 make it through this time around. Dezelewski on course to get his 3rd race win here in Challenges. Christopher Parry, we're watching in 6th place right now, all but confirmed for him his place into the top 6. But there you see Jonas Reuten missing the apex just slightly then, not over that battle then for 5th place. So you see Iwan Lanauer just sort of stopped gaining ground on Caden Lutt, and that's the soft tyres really going and matching what the medium tyres are doing. They'll only go downhill from here, as you can see there. Christopher Parry weaving left and right. He's clearly wanting to try and make the move there, as Caden Lutt now gets a 3-second time penalty. Now hold on a minute, look at Findayam here. He could benefit massively from the cars in front. All the cars in front of him, apart from the race leader, all have penalties. Let's see how far he can jump up the order.
Yeah, I think it's 3-second time penalties for all of them. I don't think anybody has 6 seconds worth of penalty. And it's about 2.6 to Iwan, so I don't think he would end up ahead of Zach Oates. I think he may end up in 3rd. So I think it might be Dezelewski, then Zach Oates, then Findayam. We're about to find out, though.
We're about to find out, because Antoine Dezelewski at some point will be coming around the final corner to try and take the checkered flag for his 3rd race win, which he does. Antoine Dezelewski, 3rd race win in Esports Challenges here in F1. It's Zach Oates in 2nd place, Caden Lutt in 3rd, and that's going to promote Mikko Hautajoki all the way up to 4th place. And unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be enough. Lanauer drops down to 5th through penalties. It's going to be Jonas Reuten in 6th place, Bartek Frass in 7th place, Pinecone in 8th, Keneal in 9th, and Tribian rounding off our top 10. As we just see there, Andrew Koropi come across the line to grab 12th place in this race. Well, that will do it then in terms of racing action for Xbox Challenges, and it's Antoine Dezelewski, race win number 3 here for him in F1 Esports Challenges. Iwan Lanauer grabs the in-game driver of the day. We'll wait to see what Justin thinks about that. In the meantime, Dezelewski can celebrate.
Fantastic stuff. And seeing a reserve finishing ahead of CRG Pinecone really just highlights how crazy of a race that actually was. Because, yeah, it really was. I mean, it had a bit of end of term sort of feeling to it. I think that's maybe why there were so many penalties. I think some people were just, hoping to do it on track, and in their mind, the penalties just don't exist, and, have a little bit more action, because why not? But what a show. Really, really enjoyed that one. And Antoine Dezelewski, I think, just made a huge case for himself when it comes to getting drafted by a team.
Absolutely. He takes his 3rd race win of the season here at the final round at Abu Dhabi for the Xbox Challenges. It's Zach Oates in 2nd place, Caden Lutt in 3rd, with Findayam in 4th, Iwan Lanauer in 5th, Jonas Reuten in 6th, Bartek Frass in 7th place, with Christopher Parry in 8th. Kenneth Lindqvist in ninth, with Tribbian rounding off the top 10. And then you can see Dunk, Boraps, Tom, and Radionix is finishing off the order then. And Radionix actually not making the checkered flag, unfortunately. So one race for him, but what a race it was for him as well, getting a few fan favourites on his side. F1 now are grabbing the bonus point for the fastest lap of the race. And I have to say, from 14th on the grid to grab 5th place, an amazing drive from the Frenchman there.
Yeah, it really was absolutely incredible. I mean, something he could be truly, truly proud of. Yeah, I mean, that's about as big of a gap as you get. I mean, of course, the penalties help it look even crazier. 8.3 seconds in the end, the gap between Antoine Desilewski and Zach Oates. Really, really impressive. It didn't make things ultra interesting in terms of battling for the lead, obviously, but it's just it's really impressive to see a driver of that caliber just really on it and putting in the laps and doing everything absolutely perfect. That's about as good as it gets. You know, that's the dream race if you're a driver.
Well, hopefully you do get to enjoy these next few moments as you get to laugh along as Justin and I try and do the mental maths behind that one. That's why we've got people behind the scenes to do that for us. All we do, Justin, is read off the top 6. But reflecting on Xbox Series challenges here, it's been fantastic showing from them, and there's been some great pace. It seems like every driver's had their up moments and their down moments, but all in all, I think what we're going to see is the top 6 drivers deserving of getting through into the next round.
Yeah, the Xbox side is always especially interesting for me. It's the drivers that I know the most in terms of doing commentary on Codemasters F1 games. I've spent a lot of times with the Xbox drivers on the Xbox side doing leagues and stuff like that. So I always look forward to the Xbox side, especially. I am marginally biased, but it's only very, very slight, and I always still very much look forward to seeing the new faces coming along. And yeah, it's been a fantastic season. PS4 and PC isn't even over yet, but yeah, it's been a fantastic season for all of the different platforms. But it's been great learning about these new drivers on the Xbox side. We did get a bit of a championship battle. It's unfortunate that Christopher Perry got a little bit unlucky in the final couple of races, in the final event as well too. So that made things a little bit easier for Caden Lutt. And unfortunately, we lost the likes of Thibaut Sooner and Connor Muir, and unfortunately that we lost a couple of people in the battle for the top 6 towards the end as well too. But even still, really enjoyed that one. And again, massive shout out to the drivers coming in and filling in today, picking up solid points, putting in solid finishes, finishing ahead of Pinecone even. I mean, that's a huge accomplishment in itself. I've never done that.
No, I've never done that. I'll never be able to claim that I've ever done that. I'll tell you what, Justin, we have got someone waiting in the wings for an interview. It is Boraps here. We're just going to drag him in. Andrew Korapi. Andrew, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
We can indeed. Andrew, first of all, you're a point scorer in front of your home fans. That's a pretty good omen for you. How did you find that?
Yeah, I knew USA was going to be one of my stronger tracks coming into the Challenger Series. That's obviously the track I qualified on to get in. So, yeah, I knew that I wanted to put on a good performance on the home track, and worked out pretty well. I think the qualifying lap was pretty decent, within 0.2 of pole, and then just kept it calm during the race. Obviously had a lot of pressure coming from finding them behind me, but just did my best to stick with Ewan and Jonas, and it worked out really well. So very happy with P7 at USA.
Absolutely. And yeah, just talk us through this whole challenges for you, because of course you got your points. You left it almost to the last moment to score your points, but you got them in the end. How do you think challenges has been for you, and what have you learned from it?
Yeah, it pushed me massively. To be completely honest, now that we're at the end, I was definitely in over my head when I qualified, and I kind of had to work my way to catch up to these guys throughout the entire season. I think I proved at USA that I definitely have the pace to be there now, if given the opportunity again. And yeah, it was, look, man, it's really difficult. It's mentally draining to try to focus to be, as quick as these guys are at the top. But yeah, I'm happy that I got the chance to do it, and I look forward to trying to qualify again for this next year.
And I think from one American to another American, Justin's got to ask you a question, surely.
Well, I was just going to say congratulations, because, yeah, obviously picking up those points at Circuit of the Americas, that's absolutely huge, and a big boost, I would imagine, as well. Are you already thinking about the 2022 season? Is this just egging you on to go even further with it?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually told Kieran this before Challenger started, but this is my full first F1 game cycle. I didn't start league racing until February of 2019, so I feel like I have a lot to improve upon, both as a driver and just, with the setups and the game itself. So I think next year is, a little bit too far away to kind of speak on yet, but my goal will definitely be to qualify and come back to see you guys next year for the Challenger Series.
Awesome. Well, huge congratulations. You really well deserved.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it so much. Thanks for doing comms as well.
Thank you, Andrew. And hopefully I didn't butcher your name at least once there. Hopefully I got it right at least one time in Challenge. Karabi. Do you know what? I was close. I'll take it. But thanks for talking to us, Andrew. Well done. Congratulations. And hopefully, we'll see you again soon.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
See who we've got here. We've got who have we got? Let's try and speak to someone we expect to be in the top. He's already in a conversation. This is the problem with dragging drivers in. But, yes, Zach goes right in the middle of a conversation. I know you can hear us then, Zach. Let's talk us through it, because that was an interesting day for sure.
Yeah, it's a mental day. I came into this event obviously top 6 in the championship, and I was hoping for it. I put plenty of practice in, I put the preparation in, and it paid off. Obviously, the P4 in USA, I bottled the pole lap, which would have been nice, but P4 was great, and then to get a P2 at the final race of the season was even better. Great way to end.
Yeah, and as a sort of review, we haven't got the official results just yet, so we can't say it yet. But as a review, how have you found challenges? Are there any lessons you've learned from all of it?
Yeah, definitely. Well, when I first started challenges, as I was coming in, I was there was two things. There was one, I initially wanted to start at the back to get the out strat, and it didn't matter qualifying too much for me. But as the season went on, I definitely learned that qualifying is the most important thing in these races, and I've just got to put so much practice into that and make sure I get that right.
Absolutely. And if you could repeat one race all over again here in Challenges, you got 10 to choose from, which would you pick?
I'd probably say the China one. That was probably my best chance of a win. I just got a little bit involved with an incident where I could have backed off a little bit more and just held back for a couple more corners, but it happens, yeah. But yeah, it's been a great season. I can't fault it.
Absolutely. And I'll hand over to Justin, because I'm sure he's got a question for you as well.
Are you looking forward to, again, it's not confirmed yet, but we certainly think that you're going to be going to the Pro Exhibition. Are you looking forward to it? Are you nervous?
Yeah, I'm well looking forward to it. I've come into the season, I had absolutely no idea about getting through the challenges. I was just happy to be here, and then as the season went on, it was become more of a reality, and yeah, I'm looking well forward to it. The next new challenge, it's going to be a massive challenge, but I'm ready to take it on.
Well, great form. You looked really good out there today. Certainly, you put in the result today that warrants making it to the top 6 and going to the Pro Exhibition. So huge congratulations and good luck in what comes next.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Zach, for tuning in. Thanks for racing, and hopefully we'll see him in the next stage of the Pro Exhibition. We'll grab one driver who was a reserve for tonight. Hopefully we don't cut in on their conversation again, because that looked like a really intense conversation. We've got Duncan here with us. Duncan, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Bradley, it's, how late was the call-up to go into these two races? I do want to ask this.
Like 2.5, 3 hours beforehand.
Wow.
And so we're talking 2.5, 3 hours beforehand. How do you get yourself mentally prepared when we've got some of the fastest drivers here? I mean, what's going through your head at that point?
You just can't think about it. You just gotta focus on just hitting your marks and just doing the lap, which I tried to do to the best of my ability. But yeah, these guys are just the fastest on this platform. Every single one of them, in my opinion, I think deserves a shot in the F1 Esports, but obviously only 6 can go through. But yeah, just to even have the opportunity to come in here and just reserve against people of this caliber, I'm over the roof with it. Despite getting P11 that last race and missing out on points, I'm still really happy, considering I had 2.5 hours of practice.
Absolutely, I agree with you. 2.5 hours practice, I would need 2.5 years to get up to the pace, and even then I'd struggle. But you had the 2 races there in challenges. Have you enjoyed yourself?
Yeah, I think Yeah, despite not getting points, I can easily take some things away from this. So, yeah, it was a really fun experience. Again, racing against these people. So, yeah, you take some things and you just go from there and learn to implement into your pace and just try again next year.
Well, we do really appreciate you coming in, obviously, because it would have been a worse race if we had less cars on the grid. So I do have one question, though, just because I'm curious. When you're put in that sort of situation, did you focus on one track over the other? You said you had like 2 hours. So did you do some practice on both of them, or did you just pick one of them, pick Circuit of the Americas, for example, your home track, and say, I'm just going to practice this for 2 hours and hope for the best?
I tried to do both tracks. I'd want to say I did more practice for Coda, but I just absolutely stuffed Wally. So, and I just had to make the most of what I could from there. And yeah, I didn't think much going into Abu Dhabi because typically that's not that good of a track for me. But chaos unfolded lap 1, and a few people got wing damage. And yeah, just try to bring it home without trying to avoid the penalties. But I ended up picking up one, and I think that cost me points. But like I said, I'm still really happy regardless.
You should be. Absolutely. Fantastic job just stepping in with so little notice. And best of luck with the future.
Yeah, thank you. Cheers.
Thanks, guys.
So that was Bradley Duncan then talking to us then. And as he clearly said there, he may not have scored any points, but he really enjoyed the experience. We've got one more driver waiting in the wings then. And if he can hear us, we've got Miko Hautayoki. Miko, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Miko, I mean, you certainly turned up at Abu Dhabi. That was a huge performance for you. I mean, let's talk challenges for you as a whole. How do you think you've done, and what lessons have you learned from it?
I think as a whole big picture, looking at the big picture, this is a great experience. It's my first year doing all these, and I'm so lost in everything. But, got one podium, one pole. I think there's a lot to take home for. And yeah, P4 in the last race, I'm happy for that. Engine a high note.
And Justin has been saying all season how this is one of the toughest and one of the most competitive fields he's ever seen in challenges, and he knows he's done a lot of them here. He's seen a lot of talent come through, and for him to say that's a huge accolade. So how do you think you've done against what Justin perceives as some of the best he's seen?
Well, okay. Obviously not too happy how it ended, but maybe next year again. But yeah, I can't be mad about this result. It's still beating some of the best on Xbox, as you said, so it's always good to see that you've got the pace.
You've definitely got some things that you can take away from your results and everything. And as you said, only the first attempt at this. So certainly, I think you've got the pace to come back even stronger in the future. And I hope we see you for 2022.
Yeah, you will.
Perfect. Love to hear it.
Love it. Well, thank you for joining us, Miko. Good luck, whatever's next for you. It's been great to talk to you. Great pleasure. And we'll see you again very soon, I'm sure.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Great seeing you race as well, too.
Well, there you go then. 4 drivers spoken to. See, the Xbox drivers, they're not that shy. Quarter of the grid spoken to.
See, PS4 drivers, that's all you have to do. It's so easy.
It's so easy. No, we're joking, of course. It's completely voluntary to come and talk to us. These mean guys that you want to talk to. But anyway, yeah. For a wide range of drivers then, we heard from the likes of Zach Oates, who we think has made the cut. We've heard from a couple of drivers who maybe haven't heard of the cut. We've had a driver who only had 2.5 hours of prep for this race. A whole wide range of emotions and a whole wide range of scenarios for each driver, but all of them seem pretty pleased and pretty content with how things have gone.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I totally understand that. Even for somebody who didn't make it through or only got to be there for one race and one event and didn't get to score any sort of points, I could totally understand why they enjoyed it so much. I really like the changes that have gone on with F1 Esports Challengers for this 2021 season. Just the format, the way everything has been worked out has been a lot of fun, hugely enjoyable. Certainly for us, I think for the viewers at home as well. And it seems like the drivers as well have really enjoyed the new format that we've adopted for this season. I think things have gone really, really well. The driving standards have been really, really high. We haven't seen, again, this was one of the worst race for penalties that we saw in Abu Dhabi there on the Xbox side. And there was still half the grid that didn't have any penalties, and the vast majority of people that did only had a single 3-second time penalty. They didn't have multiple penalties, which we have seen in years past. So yeah, I think everybody involved should be absolutely thrilled with how things worked out. And that's why I thank them for turning up and driving, you know, because we got to see some great battling all the way through the field. You know, they may not have scored points, but almost everybody was on screen at some point, having a battle, being respectful, doing a great job. And that's what we love to see.
We do indeed, and hopefully you've enjoyed watching us through. Hopefully you've enjoyed the commentary team as well. Justin mainly, I know, but but hopefully you've enjoyed our commentary as well. We've still got one more challenges to go. The PC side race tomorrow at the same tracks, the Circuit of the Americas, and in Abu Dhabi at Yas Marina. So we look forward to that. But first of all, we've got to find out which of the 6 have made it into the next stage at the Pro Exhibition, and yeah, we get to see which drivers get to really fight with the best of the best.
Yeah, we're still waiting on the word. We're waiting for the message to come through to tell us that actually that is all ready to go. So they're still finalizing everything right now, making sure everything is absolutely correct. That way we can reveal it on the stream. Of course, you know, we would hate to have to wait and show it, tell everybody the news on social media and stuff. So yeah, it sounds like we're gonna have them shortly here though. And we'll be able to talk about those 6 that are going to be going through to the Pro Exhibition, which has so many question marks. Kieran, we really don't know what the exhibition is going to be like. We've seen the pro draft in years past, and we've seen the kind of challenges that the drivers are faced with in order to prove themselves to the team so that they get picked by one of the 10 F1 teams. But really, we don't know the challenges that are going to be facing these drivers for this year in particular, because it sounds like it's not just challengers that's getting a bit of a shakeup, but it's the next step as well too.
Yeah, so it's going to be really interesting to see what that next stage is, what it involves, and how it tests these drivers against the best of the best. And of course, that's the last chance for teams to have a watching and keenful eye on these drivers and really deciding who's going to make it for the next, well, for the Pro Series in itself. Just making it is a huge honour. Being chosen by a team as well is a huge honour in that. And I think we're ready for some of the race results to come through. These will be the confirmed race results. So hopefully we'll bring up the standings in the screen for round number 9 very, very shortly, and they'll all be confirmed results. I can tell you that right now. One stage closer to finding out our top 6. So let's have a look at the round 9. These are the official results from the United States Grand Prix. It was Caden Lutt who grabbed his 3rd race win of the season. Christopher Parry in 2nd place with Antoine Desilewski in 3rd. Zacho's just missing out on the podium with Jonas Rutten in 5th place. Edwin Lanauer in 6th place. Andrew Koropi scoring points in front of his home fans in 7th. Mikko Hautajoki in 8th place. Bartek Fras and Tom Charles 9th and 10th as reserves. A stunning performance from them, both scoring 2 points because of course Tom Charles had the fastest lap of the race at the Circuit of the Americas.
Go on, Tom.
Go on, Tom. Get in there. That's something he can't take away from it as well. No one can take that away from him. Fastest lap against other drivers in F1 Esports Challenges. It's Laurent Perny then in 11th place, Kenneth Lindqvist in 12th. And Sergio Fernandez in 14th. Unfortunately, Leroy Brown had to retire from the race, running strongly in 3rd place, but had to retire due to a wheel issue on his end. Looking at Abu Dhabi then, the confirmed results is Antoine Desilewski, who took his 3rd race win of the season. Zach Oates in 2nd place with Caden Lutt rounding up the top 3. Mikko Hautajoki in 4th place with Edwin Lanauer in 5th. Jonas Rutten in 6th place. Bartek Fras just on a charge in 7th place as a reserve then. Christopher Parry in 8th place. Kenneth Lindqvist in 9th with Laurent Perny rounding off the top 10. Take you through the rest of the order then. It was Bradley Duncan in 11th place, Andrew Koropi in 12th place, Tom Charles in 13th place, and Sergio Fernandez, I'm sure he didn't finish that far back. In fact, he didn't finish at all in that race. Had to DNF before the checkered flag came out. So drum roll please, the moment of truth. These are your 6 drivers who've made it through to the next round at the Pro Exhibition. Caden Lutt, Antoine Desilewski, Christopher Parry, Jonas Rutten, Edwin Lanauer and Zach Oates. A huge congratulations to our top 6 who've made it through to the F1 Esports Pro Exhibition. A huge commiserations there to Mikko Hautajoki. Gave it his all at the end there, but it just wasn't quite enough. But I'm sure we'll see him in the hot seat very, very soon. So to take you through the order then, Caden Lutt wins the Xbox F1 Esports Series Challenges. It's Desaluski in second place on 135, Christopher Parry in third on 124, Jonas Rutten rounding off the season with a nice round, 100 points. Erwin Lanauer in 5th place on 93, Zach Oates in 6th place on 88 points, Mikko Hautajoki in 7th on 65, Leroy Brown in 8th place on 44 points, Chandler Saiter in 9th place on 21, and Lauren Perney as a mid-season driver rounding off the top 10 with 9 points scored in the season. And then, of course, in the bottom half of the table, Bartak Fras, for a reserve driver for 2 races, scores 8 points. Andrew Coropy in 12th place on 6 points. Kenneth Linkfist in 13th place on 4 points. Tom Charles then in 14th on 2 points. Bradley Duncan and Sergio Fernandez as reserve drivers didn't score any points this time around, but I'm sure we'll be seeing some more of them in the future. Well, Justin, there's our 6. There's our next 6. 12 down. 6 to go. A huge congratulations to our top 6 that have made it through to the next round. All eyes now will be on PC challenges for tomorrow.
Yeah, it's gonna be an exciting one over on the PC. Let's just have a quick look. Alessio Di Capua leading the way by 34 points to Josh Idawu, who is sitting on 100 points. 34 points behind Alessio Di Capua. So they're looking pretty comfortable. 93 for Matteo, 81 for Ruben Vallejo, 72 for Patrick Sipo, 66 for Kalpinen, 66 for Benza Sabaconi as well. So, and then it's a big gap down to Ian Failer. So it's looking like it's really going to come down to this could mix things up, but the main 3 to look out for are going to be Patrick Sipos, Kalpinen, and Sabaconi. Those are going to be the 3 that are going to be really fighting for who doesn't go through, because they're 5th, 6th, and 7th at the moment. So it's going to be really, really tight, just like with the other platforms as well. It was 141 points was the championship number for PS4, 147 here. So it'll be interesting to see if Alessio Di Capua can break 150. He only needs 16 points to do it.
Absolutely, and when you can find out which of the next 6 will make it through the final 6 on PC tomorrow night, right here, and we'll take you through all of the action and decide who will be in the last 6. Just to want to say a big thank you to everyone in the chat. We've tried to shout out just a couple. It does get a bit overwhelming when you've got one screen is the actual race, the other screen you just want to see who's talking in the chat there. But hopefully you've enjoyed the action. Myself and Justin, we've certainly enjoyed the action, and we hope you've enjoyed the coverage here tonight. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 o'clock British summertime to do it all over again, this time though for PC. With 12 spots filled, there's only 6 spots remaining, and they'll all be decided tomorrow night. From myself, Kieran McGinley, and Justin Sutton alongside, it's been a pleasure to bring this race to you. Tune in tomorrow to see who the final 6 will be. Until then, take care of yourselves and have a very good evening. Good night.